Hello everyone, and you're welcome to Jibbyfemforte tutorial, and I'm Odurole Mojibola. Now today I'm going to be explaining to us how to create this beautiful sling back sandal pattern. Well, it can be used as a female sandal and it can be used as a male sandal. The style is actually a unisex style. And then in this class I'm going to be explaining to us how to make use of this beautiful pattern. Now I want you to know that this pattern is one beautiful pattern from one of my ebook templates. I don't know if you have gotten it, and if you are just hearing for the first time, I want you to go right into the description to click. I have over 50 pattern templates inside that particular ebook. You can't afford to miss it. The amazing thing is that I have a free class offer just to follow you up on how to make use of the pattern and how to transform it into other patterns. So don't miss this opportunity. Now let's go ahead and create our sling back pattern. Now don't forget, I told us I have a free downloadable pattern for this particular style, and I'll try to first of all analyze what our pattern look like. Now this is the front pattern and we have the back pattern. The amazing thing about our sling back sandal with eyelet is that you can use the center pattern as for the sling back. So we're going to be using just this one pattern for the back and the center pattern as well. If you look at the dotted lines I have here, that is just going to represent the sling back pattern. Don't forget, it's a sling back sandal that we are making, and we are going to make use of the wider one. You can see from here to here is the center curve pattern, while from here to here is the sling back pattern. So when you want to cut out your pattern, I would suggest that you cut the full part, which is the center curve pattern, the one at the center. Cut that out first. After cutting out that, I will suggest you duplicate these two. After duplicating it, then you can cut out this your sling back from the second one, which means by then you already have two of the full pattern, so that by the time you cut this out of one of them, you have the sling back as well as the center curve pattern. Now this is actually the side pattern. There is a pattern that is at the side. This is the side pattern. I wrote fold here, which means that by the time you fold, it's just like you are going to fold it over this way. Don't forget, this side, this is the side that is going to enter into this fold. I'm going to be showing us this as we continue. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut out my pattern. I'm going to be transferring it into leather for us to see. Now, as for our buckle, we are just going to insert it this way. As you can see, the kind of buckle, I'm going to use my elastic to suspend the buckle this way. Just dip it inside it, and this is what I have at the end of the day. So this particular buckle is what I'm going to insert into this side of that our back sling. So I'm going to stitch it down that way. Yes, now we have everything ready. As you can see, you will find out that they are the same pattern, but the size has just reduced. Don't forget that we also have our eyelet points, which are the dotted lines here. Those are our eyelet points. It depends on the size you are working with. For me, this is for size 42. So if you are working with a smaller size, you can decide to reduce the intervals between each of the eyelets, or you decide to even reduce the width of this. You can read. I've taught us how to reduce pattern. Please, I want us to check the description so that we can see a full explanation on how to reduce our pattern to various sizes. And don't forget, I took this out of over 50 pattern book that I have. I don't know if you know about this. I have a book that has over 50 different pattern templates, and by the time you check the description, you will know more about it. Just click and you will know more about the book. You can have it to yourself, print out whatever kind of design you want out of it. There are so many designs therein. Don't forget, it isn't free, but I want you to go through it. I even have a backup class for it. After purchasing the ebook, which is full of over 50 different designs and templates for shoemaking. You can decide to actually join the group if you want to, and if you don't want to, you can decide to just make use of your pattern. But I have a follow-up class for whoever is interested. You can ask me anything about the pattern that is inside that particular booklet. That is after you have made your purchase. Just let me know if you are interested in the book. I will have the link to the site where you can buy it in the description. Now let's go ahead. As you can see, I've already fixed my eyelet. You can decide to use a smaller size. You can decide to use a big size. It depends on the width of your center curve pattern. And I'm sure some of us will be wondering, how did I fix this eyelet? I have already done that in one of my bag tutorial. Please go to my playlist on bag making and see how we fix this grommet so that we can use that to save time. Yes, and don't forget the fold. I told us about the fold. You can see it. This is where I folded, which is about 3.5 centimeters. I folded it in before I place my lining and then stitch it down. Ensure you do yours like that. But if you don't want to stitch, I will suggest you double the whole size, which means after you have folded this way, this side, make sure that it is part of the full leather, so that all you do is just to gum everything together on this side. Please, if you are not sure of how to go about fixing the lining, everything is in the description. Just go to pattern cutting playlist and simple shoemaking techniques playlist. You will find them all there. Please, I don't want to be going over and over for the sake of those who have always been following up with the tutorial. And if you are new, don't forget to subscribe. Press the notification button so that you can always see each time I publish a video. Now let's go ahead to lassen our footwear. Now for our front pattern, I always try to use my finger because I believe that is much more convenient and will be able to understand that. I've already cut out my insole. Please, if you don't understand how to cut the insoles as well, please, you have a lot inside my pattern cutting playlist. A lot of simple techniques is what you will find there in cutting all of this our insole. Now I made use of Nora. Is a PVC, as you can see, it is a PVC. That's what I made use. Some call it Nora. So you can always get this in the market. You can decide to wrap yours by using Marco and cardboard as your insole. But for me, I'm going to be using this. Now let's go ahead. As you can see, I love to place my hand. For those who are very familiar with my class, I love always to place my hand. So I'm going to be using this side of my finger. I'm going to be using this side of my finger and then this particular side. Don't forget, I taught us that each time you want to punch, ensure that it is about 1 centimeter away from the edge. That is so important. Make sure it is 1 centimeter away from the edge so that when you are finally through with it, you will not find out that it is too close to the edge and it seems to be tearing off. Because for me, I'm going to be inserting it into it. That is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to insert it now. Now that I've done that, I'm going to place this on it as usual. I'm just going to place it on it. Let me first of all punch this. We need punch to first of all punch this particular one. Now you can see I've already punched it here. I used a 3mm punch. It's a 3mm punch. Can you see the 3? It's a 3mm punch. Yeah. So you can decide to use 2. It depends on the thickness of your upper. That is what will determine whatever you are going to be opening and then whatever you are going to be cutting through on this side. So don't forget, we will always place it on it. Don't forget you have to place it on it so that you don't have so much free space by the time you are through with it. Now I have this on this other side as well. What am I going to do now? I'm just going to go ahead and punch. I'm going to go ahead and punch. Now, if you are a beginner, I would suggest that you first of all do this on a pattern. Cut a cardboard and do this first on a pattern. When you see that you are able to do it perfectly, then you can transfer it onto your insole. Please don't transfer directly and punch directly on your insole, so that in case you make a mistake, you don't have to cut another material and be wasting material. Get a cardboard. probably the ones that children use generally for drawing. You can decide to use that, or you get a carton. There are so many cartons that we can actually use. Don't forget when you are cutting it. If you look at this one now, you will find out that the two of them are not the same thing, except you turn right side and right side together. If not, they will not be the same thing. You can see that this cannot climb on this. You have to make sure that when you are cutting the pattern, when you cut one this way, when you want to cut the second one, you cut it the other way around. That is what makes differentiate between left and right when it comes to your pattern cutting. Please, it's important. If you place one this way, you cannot place the second leg as well this way. So it means you have to make sure that you turn it this way and then the other one this way for you to achieve left and right. Now, if you look at this now, according to our pattern, this is supposed to be here and then go this way. You will find out that if I cut this, I cannot use it. Can you see that it's the wrong side that is showing me? So it's very important when you are cutting. So I'm going to pick the next point here. Then I'm going to go ahead. Now, you have a choice. You either extend this particular one to fix this, to fix the second one, or you just create a little distance between the two. You can decide to insert the two of them into the same cut out, opening. But for me, I think I need at least a little distance between them. So I'm going to leave about 0.5 centimeter gap here before I punch my next, before I mark the next one. So I'm just going to make use of a 0.5. Ensure you check this out. So about 0.5, that's what we need. As you can see, this is a 0.5. Now I'm just going to punch that side. After, make sure that you follow this curve when you want to create your pattern. It will make it perfectly blend. Don't just be cutting everything straight. No, if there's any design that falls at this angle, make sure that when you want to cut through, cut it, let it slant that way. It gives you a perfect result than when you just do it like that. Don't forget, we are creating a sling back sandal with eyelet as an accessory. So the eyelet is what is beautifying the whole design. So you can see what I have here. If you look at it, you'll find out that this side is wider than this side. So it means you have to really be careful when you want to finally pick up where you are using. Because for me, I would like to use the smallest part. So if I would now need to expand, I can decide to expand it. It's better for you to have a small opening and then increase it than when you have a wide. If you have a wide one, it means you have to go and get another insole, which is one of the reasons I said if you're a beginner, please don't start with your material. Start with a pattern template. So I'm just going to pick that side and I'm going to go ahead with my punching and I'm going to open it. Now, for opening it, don't forget I told us, ensure that it is slant. Let it go this way. Don't let it, you will see that even if you are looking at the opening I have, it's easier for me to go this way when I want to cut. I want to cut the opening. So ensure that when you are cutting it slant and not just straight down. Now you can see how it looks, that it blends alongside that particular edge. Now we are going to our back sling. That is the sling. What makes our sandal a sling back sandal with highlights. Now don't forget that we have this by the side, we have this on one side, and we have this one at the other side. Don't forget that even this has left and right. If you look at it this way, see what I have here, you can see what I have. Now if I fix this here, it will perfectly fulfill the purpose I want it to fulfill. Now, if I come and pick this one, it will definitely be the wrong side, which means when I was cutting, I didn't just cut the two of them this way. I decided to turn this one the other way around. So that is one thing that differentiates between the left side and the right side. So as you can see, it's different. It can only come together when you face wrong side with wrong side or right side with right side. That is how to know whether you have right and left or you don't have right and left. When wrong side and wrong side can come together, or when left side and left side can come together on your pattern and align with themselves, it means you have right and left leg. Now let's go down to our back pattern. Now, for our back pattern, I'm going to make use of 7.5 centimeters. So it means I'm going to be walking in this direction. So from here to here, I'm going to be making use of 7.5, which is going to be around this place. Now, don't forget that according to our design, this is what we are going to be having. On this side, we're going to be having this, and it's going to be going to the other side. Now, it's important for you to also know that this side, we are going to be inserting this into this, because this is where what is going to be carrying this one on this side. I hope you can comprehend how our style practically looks like this way. So now that I already have my points, I'll just do the same thing I did here. I'm going to place it here. Now, before I go ahead with that, I would like you to know that each time you are creating a design, I think I've told us this before, make sure that this, since we say we are making use of 7.5, which is actually on this side. So by the time I pick my 7.5 here, when I want to pick on this side, I'm going to pick 7.4. so that it will be a little bit lower on this particular side. And the reason is our leg always, the weight of our leg always rests on this side, the full part of our leg. So it will be easy for the sandal to perfectly grip the leg on this side. That's why we always tilt this particular side of our sandal. So I'm going to just punch this side and create the openings, and we'll go ahead and last our sling back sandal with highlight. Now you can see what I have after lacing my sling back sandal with highlight. You can see how lovely it is. Don't forget, this particular side you can decide to use 2/4 of an inch, or you use 2.5 inch for this height here. So it means from where you punch to this side where it ends, you use 2/4 or 2.5, depends on the person or the size you are working with. You can see how it really looks and how beautiful it looks like. If you have enjoyed today's tutorial, don't forget, if you are new, subscribe to my channel. Please like if you have really enjoyed the class. Please like the video. Please share the video. And thank you so much for watching today's tutorial. I'll see you next time. Bye.